Today I speak not only to Nigeria, not only to West Africa, but to the whole continent, and to every heart that beats for true freedom. There is a storm approaching, and it is not made of rain or thunder. It is made of plans hidden in plain sight. It is made of smiling faces carrying poisoned gifts. It is made of men who speak of feeding Africa while secretly starving her soul. They call it GMO, genetically modified food. They dress it in fine words. They parade it as the solution to hunger. But it is nothing more than a chain. A chain made of steeds. A chain made of dependency. A chain that will bind the hands of African farmers until they can no longer feed their own children without permission. And in this agenda, there are willing tools, men who move through our land, destroying crops, spilling the blood of those who till the soil. In Nigeria today, the farmer does not only fear drought or pests, he fears the very path to his own field. He fears that if he steps onto his land to plant God's seeds, he may not return home alive. There are herds driven not by hunger alone, but by a mission, to eat every crop, to destroy every harvest, to make farming a dangerous memory. And when fear grips the farmers, when their fields are abandoned, when the granaries are empty, the same hands will come offering their solution. Steeds you cannot replant, food you cannot own, life you cannot control. Do you not see the trap? These GMO steeds, they give you one harvest and leave you with nothing for the next season. The watermelon has no steed, the maize will not grow again. You will go back to the same sellers year after year, begging for what God has already given you for free. And they will set the price. They will decide who eats and who starves. They will hold your future in their warehouses and laboratories. If it was truly a blessing, Africa would be the last to see it. But no, they roughed it here because the true aim is not to feed Africa, but to control her. Understand this. If you control oil, you can control economies. If you control gold, you can control trade. But if you control food, you control life itself. You decide who breathes tomorrow. And this is the plan for Africa. And my brothers and sisters in Nigeria, you must hear me clearly. Your land is the key. Your nation is the giant whose awakening will shake the chains off the entire continent. The world knows this. That is why your oil is never yours, why your currency is attacked, why your farmers are under siege. If Nigeria stands free, truly free, then Africa will no longer kneel before anyone. This may sound like a dream, but history will tell you. Nigeria has always been the heart of African destiny, and now they seek to choke that heart. Do you not see? This is not about hunger. Africa has never been poor in food. We are rich in the rains, rich in the rivers, rich in the soil that can grow life 1,000 times over. Our hunger is not for bread, our hunger is for freedom. Freedom where no foreign hand controls our oil, our gold, our cobalt, our diamonds, or the very food that touches our lips. We must say no, not with whispers, but with the full voice of a continent. We must refuse the chains of dependency disguised as technology. We must protect our farmers, because the day a farmer lays down his hoe in fear, the nation has already begun to starve. To my Nigerian brothers in the villages, to my sisters in the markets, know this, you are not alone. Your struggle is Africa's struggle. Your victory will be Africa's victory. And to those who stood in comfort while the land bleeds, remember, the soil you ignore today will feed your children tomorrow. And if you sell that soil to strangers, your children will eat from their hands, not from yours. The time for silence is over. The time for waiting is over. The revolution is not a dream for tomorrow. It is the call of today. Rise, protect your land, guard your thieves, defend the harvest. We cannot allow Africa's food to be signed away in contract we did not write, in languages we do not speak. We cannot allow our farmers to be hunted in their own field. We cannot allow the gift of God, the seed, to be replaced with the chains of man-made control. In my own country, Burkina Faso, we too saw dark days. We saw fields left untended, villages abandoned, marketplaces silent, not because the people forgot how to farm, but because they could no longer walk freely on their own land. There were groups moving with herds, crossing lands without respect for boundaries, allowing their animals to consume this thread of farmer and using fear as a weapon. It was not simply the loss of crops that hurt us, it was the loss of trust, the feeling that the earth was no longer ours to work. Many stayed away from their fields, and when the hands that feed a nation are forced to stay idle, hunger becomes a shadow over every home. But my people decided, enough. We rose not with anger alone, but with the understanding that no foreign force, no organized pressure, no calculated fear should dictate our right to live from our land. We organized our communities, we defended our farmers, we stood together until the land was free again to produce without fear. And now I look at Nigeria, and I see a familiar struggle. I see farmers in the north, the middle belt, the south. Men and women who once walked to their fields with joy, now going with unease, or not going at all. I see fertile land that could feed millions, lying in silence. And I see the danger that when the fields are empty, another hand will arrive with the so-called solution, the seed that cannot be replanted, the food that is not truly yours. This is why I tell you, what is happening is not by accident. It is the chain of events designed to break the independence of Africa's food system. They weaken the farmer with fear, they weaken the soil with neglect, and then they enter with their gift that cost more than gold. Burkina Faso learned that we cannot wait for others to save us. We cannot wait for outside help to restore our dignity. We had to protect our land, our crops, our herds, and our farmers ourselves. And we did. It was not easy, but it was necessary. Nigeria must do the same. Your land is rich, your people are strong, and your history is proof that when you decide to rise, nothing can hold you down. This is the time to rise not just for yourselves, but for the farmers in Ghana, in Mali, in Chad, in Niger, and across Africa who are watching and hoping. Do not think this is only about today's harvest. No, it is about the future of your children and grandchildren. If we surrender our seeds today, they will inherit dependency tomorrow. If we protect our seeds today, they will inherit freedom tomorrow. And this is why the GMO plan is dangerous. It looks harmless, even helpful, but in reality, it is the slow surrender. It is a way of saying to Africa, your soil is no longer your power, your rain is no longer your blessing, your food is no longer your choice. We in Burkina Faso faced those who tried to disrupt our way of life. We stood together, farmers, herders, traders, leaders, and we found solutions rooted in unity, dialogue, and community defense. We restored the dignity of working the land without fear. Nigeria, you too can do it. You too can protect your farmers. You too can ensure that the seeds God gave you are never replaced with deeds that come with conditions. Because when you control your seeds, you control your future. When you control your food, you control your destiny. And when you control your destiny, no one writes your story for you. Thank you for your time. And I tell you, my brothers and sisters, this truth is written in the soil of Africa. Our enemies know it, and that is why they strike at the roots. Not just the trees, not just the harvest, but the very courage of the farmer to plant. Because the day we control our food is the day no one controls